You know, there's nothing more frustrating being a cinematographer and having to struggle with power. I mean, it not only just stops your workflow, but it also drains your creativity, which is why I think it's very important for every and any cinematographer to invest into power solutions. And when I say power solutions, I'm talking about power packs, right? Now, there are tons of power packs out there. I'm not going to actually sit down and give you a science of how it works. I just want to give you, from my perspective, you know, the challenges I've gone through and have been able to solve them. Now, I have different tons of power packs. You know, there's one I have called the Soulmate. I've tried it before, but my issue is it can't power a lot of things simultaneously. It can only like handle my camera and my monitor. Same thing for this SmallRig 99. It's good, it's strong, but it doesn't last me that long. And then I came across the SmallRig 212, and after this, I don't think I've had any issues again. In the box of the SmallRig 212, you have a few things. One of them is the SmallRig itself. There you have it. And then you also have a USB-C cable. Now, it is important to note that this is not just any USB-C cable. This is a fast charging cable. So try as much as possible not to lose this. And then finally, we also have a manual. If you care for reading this, then this is yours. I don't think I'm going to need this. But that's basically everything you have in the box. At a first glance, this is what the SmallRig 212 actually looks like. It's pretty sturdy. It has this rubbery feel all over that makes it easy to hold on to, so it doesn't just fall off your hands easily. Now, the normal features on the SmallRig 212, one of them is the screen. We'll come to that in a bit. Now, let's look at the other features. Now, it has a number of features packed here. One of them is the D-tab. It actually has 2 slots for D-tab. Now, if you open this up, you find the first slot for the D-tab. If we turn it to the other side, you have another slot for the D-tab right here. Do know that you can actually charge the 212 using this slot as well. Now, if we turn it to the top, you have a number of slots here likewise, but you need to lift this lid up. Now, here you have a number of slots. You have 2 Type-C slots here. Now, also note that you can charge the 212 using the Type-C slots as well. In the middle, you have a USB-A, and then underneath, you have 2 outputs that you can actually use to power other equipment. This actually powers out 12 volts, while this gives out 8 volts. Now, let's turn back to the side again and let me show you something. Now, you have a power check button here. With this, it actually serves a number of purposes. When you click on it once, what it does is it shows you the amount of power left on the SmallRig. If you click on it one more time, then it goes off. Now, there are other features it actually shows right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect my mobile phone to it. Now, notice, let me bring this up just a little bit more. Now, notice it shows a few more things. Now, it actually shows you all the inputs and outputs, and it shows you how much power is being given or which one is actually being used. Right now, we're using the Type A, so you can see it's outputting 5.2 volts, and then you can see how much percentage we have left. So the screen actually serves as a very good interface for you to actually know what's going on with the power bank. And that's basically everything about this. There's one more slot underneath. I don't think I'll ever use that slot. Here it is. I usually find it on most V-Mount batteries. I've never used it before, and I'm not sure I'm going to use it. Now, underneath here is where you have that V slot. I guess this is where the name comes from, the V-Mount slot. So with this, you can actually hang this onto your camera, and that's basically everything about the setup and the features of the SmallRig 212. One thing I love about this power pack right here is the fact that it does so much. I mean, now when I'm setting up my rig, I prefer having a one stop solution. There is nothing more frustrating than having to use a battery pack on your monitor, use a battery in your camera. I mean, I don't think any serious cinematographer uses a battery inside of their camera in a rig and expect that, after a few hours, it's not going to die out. It just doesn't make sense. Now, let's bring it into context. If I was going to charge my mobile phone, right, I can actually use this SmallRig 212 to charge my iPhone 14 Pro Max 13 times. I'm not kidding, 13 times. And when I'm using it on my MacBook Pro, I can actually use it to charge my laptop like 3.5, 4 times. That's just how powerful this gear right here is. Now, say you were using a CANON R5C. I mean, you actually be able to use the SmallRig 212 for about 11.5 hours straight. That's almost like half a day shoot. That's like 12 hours, and that does make truckload of sense. Now, if you're using a black Magic Pocket camera, for example, 6K Pro, and you're shooting at 4K, 60 frames per second, you can actually use the 212 for 9 hours straight up. I'm not kidding. That's how powerful this power bank right here is. And if you're using the Sony FX3, for example, that's what I'm using on this camera right here, you can actually use the SmallRig likewise to power it for about like 11 hours straight. So honestly speaking, when I'm telling you about how powerful this dude right here is, I'm not kidding. It does pack a punch. Now, another thing I love about it is that it doesn't just power one equipment. It can power like 5 things simultaneously. You know what? Let me power it and let me show you exactly what I'm trying to say. Now, this is an example of one of the ways in which I use this battery right here. As you can tell, it's fully loaded. Now, what I've done is I'm charging my mobile phone. I hope you can see that. Good. So I'm charging it, and I'm also charging my laptop likewise, and I'm also powering the Rodecaster Duo directly from the SmallRig 212. So this is just like a normal day, because right now I'm actually working on my system. Usually when I edit, I like to edit in 4K, right? So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm rendering. I'm using an AI edit. So I'm editing one of my clips. If you have a look at it, that's actually the edit for the there's a product I reviewed that I'm going to be showing very soon. It's a VMount product, but I'll let you guys know what it is. It's actually, well, there's no point, let me just tell you. It's the VMount LS550 stick light. So I'm rendering it in 4K right now using AI on my system, and I'm using a MacBook Pro M4 Max. So it's actually, using a lot of power right now. In fact, my battery is actually at 52%. So I'm recording my screen so that you can actually see it's at 52%. So this is just one of the ways in which you can use this battery. Sometimes when I'm editing at home, I edit without the power. I'm just editing, and when I have ideas, I'm putting them down. And when I'm outside and I'm editing, I always make sure that I carry this power pack with me. And so sometimes I just use it to power it and power my phone at the same time. I mean, sometimes you also go to a cafe, right? That's where this also comes in. I mean, there are 1,000,001 ways in which you can use this power pack. But trust me when I tell you that it's a very good power solution. Now, in terms of charging, in just 2 to 2.5 hours, this battery goes from 0 to 100. And for me, that's very, very impressive. And another good thing is, whilst you're using it, you can be charging it simultaneously. I mean, though it's not usually advisable. And then in terms of pricing, it's really not expensive. It's about like $439. Well, let me say expensive is actually very, it's relative, but for me, $439 makes sense as a power solution that you can take anywhere. The only place I know you may have an issue using this battery is if you are flying, if you are going by air, right? Most airlines don't allow you go beyond like 100 watts. And that's where the 99 version would come in. But if you're going by road and you need to power, if you're in the car, for example, I need to power tons of stuff, this guy comes in handy. So it's, I see it as a one-stop solution when it comes to powering, your equipment, your rig, your light, practically anything, So I think it's a very good gear. And if you guys have laid your hands on it before, please let me know. Maybe there are other ways you've used it that I haven't. But basically, that's everything about this power pack right here. I've used it for a while, and honestly speaking, I'm very, very impressed. I'm never afraid of running out of power juice, especially when it's like 100%. 100%, you know. So that's it, guys. I'll probably see you guys on the next review. Ciao.